No, we're not in the middle of Mogadishu, Garowe, or Hargeisa. We're actually in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood. Today, we investigate this cultural hotspot and the implications it has for the greater Minneapolis area, as well as the University of Minnesota.
Go on your side. Sit up. Stand up. Whoa.
We are following a developing story here in Minneapolis. 3 young men are dead after a shooting inside a market. It happened just before 8 o'clock tonight at Stewart Market and Halal Meat on East Franklin.
When we first arrived, police were still very actively searching the area for suspects. We watched canine units working the block and the alley behind the store. Well, this is what we know about the scene. It was called in at 7:45 as a robbery of a business. While en route, the call changed to shots fired. When police arrived, they found one victim dead in the doorway and more bodies inside.
In 2008, there was a fatal shooting of 20-year-old Ahmer Habdi Mohammed. This shooting rocked the Riverside community and was followed with an unusual spike in crime within the area. As it turns out, these events became defining moments for the neighborhood, as both the community and the law enforcement took drastic measures to curb this unheard of increase in crime. We met up with 4 typical University of Minnesota students to get their idea of what they thought of those colored stacks in the sky.
My name is Michael Maga.
My name is Ethan Fogel.
Jacob Stein.
I'm a sophomore.
I'm a sophomore.
I'm a sophomore.
I'm a sophomore.
I currently live in Floco, which is an apartment complex in Dinkytown.
What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear Riverside Plaza?
The liquor store. I think of, there's like a rock club that I go there. It's called like Triple Rock. That's a pretty cool place actually. And I think of the Wienery over there. I really like that. I like their hot dogs.
Not a lot actually. I know that the apartments are over there, the big colorful buildings, but I don't really go over there that much, so.
I guess kind of just like all the mom and pop stores and just those really big apartments.
I think of the building because it's really unique, but I've never been inside.
How often do you go over to the Riverside Plaza neighborhood?
Probably like once or twice a month, you know, just like, go to like Cedar Riverside liquor store or, just like occasionally I'll go to concert at a little show or at that little venue over there.
I don't really go over there that often. There's not really much for me. I don't really know a lot about it.
I guess every time I'm like on the light rail, it stops at Cedar Riverside, but other than that, not really.
I run over there sometimes, but I never make it a destination.
What have you heard about the Riverside Plaza from either friends, associates, or just anyone that you come in contact with?
Well, my roommate's mom was like, found out that like her younger son goes there all the time, and was like, oh, you can't go over there, like that, you know what happens over there? Like she was like white, suburban, you know, just pretty like average family, and she was like pretty scared of it, but like, that's like kind of the general consensus from like most of the people I've talked to, but like, I don't know, I've never had like anything weird happen to me there or anything.
I've heard from my boyfriend's mom that it's not a good neighborhood to be at in certain times, but like, I don't know if that's true.
I heard that it's not really a safe place. At least that's what the dominant narrative is. But yeah, I don't really know if it actually is or not.
I mean, I heard it's kind of not a safe place, especially at night, but just that.
Interestingly, the City of Minneapolis neighborhood crime reports show that crime in the Cedar Riverside area has drastically declined over the years. These statistics are based on crime reports to police officers crimes observed on closed-circuit televisions and by police officers on patrol. In 2001, 413 crimes were reported in the neighborhood, while last year, only 280 crimes were reported. This was their reaction upon hearing this unheard-of statistic.
Wow, I didn't know that. I hope that's interesting.
I did not know that. That's really surprising.
I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting that you say that.
I did not know that, but like, I don't know what it was like before, like what it decreased from even, like, I'm pretty new to the area.
Cedar Riverside, also referred to as West Bank, has boundaries with the Mississippi River to the north and to the east, Interstate 94 to the south, and Hiawatha Avenue and Interstate 35 to the west. It has a long-standing tradition of cultural diversity and settlement, with a robust arts tradition. It is home to a number of 100 or so different languages that are spoken in the Twin Cities. This vibrant neighborhood boasts many restaurants, cafes, bars, and venues for performance arts and music. The Cedar Riverside neighborhood is historically known for its immigrant population, beginning in the late 1940s post-World War II with immigrants from Eastern Europe. With the arrival of many new Cambodian, Somali, and especially Latino immigrants, hospitals now offer services in other languages to accommodate patients whose mother tongue is not in English. Cedar Riverside is part of the university's community and is dominated by the West Bank campus of the University of Minnesota's Minneapolis campus, which includes the Law School, Carlson School of Management, Hubert H. Humphrey Institute of Public Affairs, and the West Bank Arts Quarter. The East and West Bank of the U of M are connected by the Washington Avenue Bridge. Also, the acquisition of a number of residential blocks by the university for expansion of the West Bank campus was a very controversial topic in the late 1960s. The neighborhood is also home to Augsburg College, a private liberal arts college in St. Catherine's University's Minneapolis campus. It is served by the blue and green light rail lines, and it is the only neighborhood in the Twin Cities with 2 light rail stops. In the late 19th century, Cedar Riverside had a sizable Scandinavian immigrant community, most of whose members labored in the Mississippi's rivers, lumber, and milling industries. It later evolved into a hub for intellectuals, hippies, radical activists, actors, musicians, and actors during the 1960s and 70s. In keeping with its tradition of ethnic and cultural diversity, the neighborhood is today home to the largest immigrant community in the Twin Cities. According to the U.S. Census data from the 2005 to the 2010 periods, the neighborhood's race and ethnicity profile is as follows: 45% Black or African American, 37.1% White, 10.9% Asian or Pacific Islander, 3.4% Hispanic or Latino, 2.8% of mixed race, and 0.5% of American Indian and Alaskan Native American. 0.2% are other races. Highlighting a need by Somalians in Cedar Riverside to stay in a positive limelight was the Mogadishu, Minnesota controversy.
I can't escape, and that's 'cause you affect me.
Mogadishu, Minnesota, an HBO television drama created by an Oscar-winning director and a Canadian Somali rapper, has infuriated many in the Minnesota Somali community. They say that this show will perpetuate unfair stereotypes of Muslims. Intended to be a window into the lives of Somalians in Minneapolis adjusting to life in a Midwestern city within the U.S., many community members instead fear Mogadishu, Minnesota will stroke Islamophobia if it airs.
Kanan, a man that we all looked up to. All I'm gonna say is the facts, that he is trying to make a TV show about a Somali American family based in Cedar with an executive producer named Catherine Bigelow. If you guys don't know who she is, she's made movies that have raised Islamophobia, that makes Muslims look really, really bad, like Zero Dark 30 and lots of others. You guys can search her up. You know, within it, there's also some extremism. There's some, you know, the plot is about a lot of things, including extremism, including the FBI, including informants, including a lot of things.
We don't really have nothing against Kenan himself, but he could do so much work. He could do such a great show, but without that one extremism plot. Like, why will the show basically be about that one thing when Somalis are known for so many great things? You know, why do we have to be shine like with a dark light? Because basically it's just something that's gonna sell itself. That's what the viewers want to watch. That's what they want to see. They don't want to see something good about Somali. That's not gonna sell.
Catherine Bigelow plus Cedar, which is the hotspot for terrorism, like terrorist stuff, right? You know, that's literally what when a white average Joe looks at Somalis from Minnesota, what's he gonna think?
And what I'm dealing with is themes of identity.
When a white person's watching that show, okay, and he gets out of his house and he sees a Somali boy, let's say Muhammad, he's gonna go up to Muhammad and be like, I know who you are. Do you know how I know who you are? I've been watching you on the TV. Kenan wants us to believe in him, put our trust into him. How can we just put our trust into an outsider that just came to Cedar out of nowhere? He's claiming that he will make the government look like the bad guys. Why the hell would HBO allow a man to let the government look bad? Why would he be getting $4 million from Minnesota? He's getting $4 million from Minnesota for funding for his show, okay, annually. Why, if Minnesota is paying him, why would they allow him to make the government look bad, to make the FBI look bad?
If we don't take the reins of our own narratives, then, you know, it'll always be this idea of I'm afraid, therefore we should also all be scared and paralyzed.
This show will directly affect me and everybody here, all the Somalis here. You just can't do that. Because of Trump, all of crime against Muslims have been rising like crazy.
Well, Muslim Americans are already feeling the divide in their communities here at home.
New statistics show that hate crimes against Muslims in Britain have increased 300%.
At some point during her shopping experience, a woman allegedly came up, punched her, removed her hijab, and spat on her, all the while shouting some form of slurs and swear words in a heavy accent.
Surveillance video shows a suspect punching, kicking, and stomping on a Muslim teenager in Brooklyn, New York. The beating took place outside a mosque during a midnight prayer service.
We are literally the next target. When all this extremism stuff, all this bad stuff, Trump, when all this is at a high, he now wants to come from Canada all the way to Cedar to do a show. I'm sorry. Without him giving us some sort of proof, some sort of something that we can have, you know, I just can't trust him. I can't trust him with my future. It's not gonna happen.
As you can see, Cedar Riverside is staggered with a mix of vibrant colors and people. And as the decades go on, the evolution of this area and the integration with the greater Minneapolis area will be quite a sight to see. Thanks for watching. Israel Folade and Michael Kaufman signing off.